Hi again guys, it's me Alice, and today we're going to talk about how to tackle a song bit by bit so it becomes as detailed and as textured as possible. So the methods I'm going to describe to you guys, I would use these for any auditions, whether it be for a show or an audition for a drama school. They want to see you perform a song as detailed as possible, so this would be great for that. Even if you're doing a show and you've got some big numbers coming up, or even if you're just learning a song with your singing teacher or for fun by yourself, the first thing I'd suggest once you've picked your song that you'd like to break down is avoid listening to a cast recording of that song repetitively. Of course you can listen to songs, I'm not going to say you're not allowed to do that, but it can get to the point where you know that recording inside out, and when you sing the song without realising, you'll just be imitating the other person's performance, and we don't want that. You want your performance to be as unique and organic as possible. But by all means, have a listen to some cast recording for some inspiration when picking a song. I have brought with me Mr. Snow from Carousel, an absolute classic. So when I talk about any details and things specific, I'll demonstrate it with this piece of music here. If you can find the music, I prefer working from that so I can then compare the music to the lyrics. But if you don't want to do that, as long as you've got the lyrics printed out in some form, then that should be perfect. Of course, you can do it on your laptop or iPad or phone as well. So I would start off by first looking at the context of the song. I would start by Googling the show, so in this case Carousel, and I would check at what point of the show this song comes in, so you can see a little timeline, or just read the synopsis of the show. Even better if you can actually read the whole show, or see if there's a recording or a film version of the show. It's important you know whereabouts the song sits in the show, because the character who's singing the song might go through a massive journey throughout the whole show, so you need to be able to pinpoint at what stage of this journey this character is on during this song. Another thing to check is who wrote this song? What is their style? Have a listen to some of their other work so you can get some inspiration. I would then just read through the lyrics and try and answer some questions. Start with the 5 W's. What, when, where, how. Who, what, where. I'm gonna have to write them down. Start with the 5 W's, which are who, what, when, where and why. Who is singing the song? What are they singing about? We kind of covered this earlier, but when are they singing this song in the show? When are they singing it? Time period? What year is it? What month is it? What season is it? Why? Why are they singing this song? What are they trying to get out of singing this song? And where are they? Are they at the beach? Are they in a house? Are they somewhere that's huge? Or are they in a very small confined space? All these details make a big difference when performing. You can take this a little further if you'd like, and I'd really recommend you try doing this and start doing this, because it really makes it a bit more advanced. So we want to explore what journey the character goes on, and 9 times out of 10 there's 4 to choose from. There is the winning journey, the losing journey, the spiral journey, and serendipity. I have some definitions for each of these journeys that I'm going to read now. So the winning journey is where a character sets out to achieve a goal and is successful in doing so. She ended up where she wanted to go and won her battle. For example, Sky Masterson wins his battle for control over his relationship with Sarah Brown in I'll Know from Guys and Dolls. The second one is the losing journey. This is where she may try to get to a specific place, but it is unsuccessful. The attempt to gain territory is no less committed regardless. If Sky Masterson won the battle in I'll Know, then Sarah Brown lost it. Henry Higgins fights to banish Eliza from his thoughts in I've Grown Accustomed to Her Face, and ends the song having lost. The spiral journey is a little more complex. So in the spiral journey, it's when the character begins trying to figure out a problem, goes on a long journey exploring all aspects of it and realising they just can't quite solve it yet. Even a journey that essentially ends back where it begins is still a valid one, as long as the character has tried to make some progress. The character may have gained a deeper self-knowledge or important insights. And finally, serendipity. I can't say that.
Serendipity.
This means she begins with the intention of going one place but ends up somewhere unexpected. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just a surprise. For example, the singer in I'm Not Afraid of Anything from Songs for a New World criticises everyone in her life for their weaknesses, finally discovering that she is the one who is unable to love or be loved. She never imagined that kind of self-revelation at the beginning of the song. Another example is Billy Bigelow's soliloquy in Carousel that takes him on an unexpected and life-changing journey. So read through your lyrics and just see whereabouts your character goes through this song. Next, you want to think about who is your character singing to. Is it one person? Is it a group of people? Or is it no one? Are they singing to themselves? In which case, why do you think they're doing that? Is it going on in their head, or are they speaking these words out loud? What you have to remember is, in this character's world, it's likely that they're not aware that they are singing. But it could be the case that they are very aware they are singing, and they may be performing in a show within the show. A bit meta. So make sure you make that distinction. Once I know who I am singing to, in my song, I like to mark in specific ways in how I think the character I'm singing to would react. Simple things like, would they shake their head yes? Would they shake their head no here? Would they stay silent? Maybe at one point they try and butt in, but the character singing stops them. Creating something like this can really help you then visualize the person you are singing to. In an audition, the last thing you want to do is eyeball the panel, again, unless they ask you to. So if you look just above their heads, you can really be specific and visualize exactly who you are singing to. The next thing I would do is try and have a listen to the accompaniment alone. If you can't do that, and you can read music, take a look at the music and see where things correlate. In instances like this, I would just grab a highlighter and highlight all of the musical terms. Now, my music theory is below par. So I just Google the term at the top, which is moderato con grazia. And that translates to with grace / gracefully. So that itself gives you a clue on how to start this song. I would also mark the volume changes, again with my highlighter. So here you want to look for little symbols such as P, MF. To summarise that, P means quiet, piano, and F means forte, loud. The more P's you get, for example, PPP, that means really quiet. If you get 3 F's, that means really loud. And if you get MF or MP, that means moderately loud or moderately quiet. Think maybe talking volume there. So I'm just going to highlight those. Another thing I would do is mark the punctuation. So I'd either do this again on my music, or if you've got the lyrics printed out, I would highlight any full stops, any commas, any dashes, and even some speech marks, because sometimes a character will quote another character or person in their song. It also gives you an idea on where to breathe, so the lyrics still make sense. For example, in this line here, it says, "The first time he kissed me, the whiff of his clothes knocked me flat on the floor of the room." There is a comma here, which I will mark. So what I don't want to do in this instance is go, "The first time he kissed me, the whiff of his clothes knocked me flat on the floor of the room." I would take a snatch breath where the comma is, which is here. "The first time he kissed me," snatch breath, "the whiff of his clothes," and so on. It just makes the lyrics make a little more sense to the audience's ear. So by listening to the accompaniment or looking at the music, where does the volume increase? Where does the volume decrease? Where does the music accelerate, so get faster? And where does it pull back and get slower a bit? If you'd like to work on your music theory, there's so much on the internet that you can Google. And there's even tutorials on YouTube that you can have a look at for some very basic stuff. But I'm going to include a list of some words that are very often to crop up in some music. You may see some terms such as crescendo, which means to get louder, or decrescendo, which means to get quieter. You may also see diminuendo, which also means get quieter. You may see accelerando, which means to speed up, or you may see the word rallentando or retardando, which means to slow down. Another little symbol that they use in music, often in musical theatre songs, but you'll find them in all songs, is this little one right here. It looks like a bracket with a little dot on it. This is known as a fermata. The definition of it is a musical symbol placed over a note or rest to be extended beyond its normal duration. So this means the music will kind of slow down and the person playing along will often follow the singer here. The music will slow down a little before picking back up again. I'm going to speak the rhythm of how I would perform this bit from Mr. Snow. If I kept the tempo as 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would go, for all it can do is look forward to that wonderful day of days. It would then pick up back to the original tempo, when I marry Mr. Snow. But as I say, my music theory is not
fabulous.
So if there's anything you're unsure about, Google it or ask someone for some help. Something that was always emphasised to me at my time at Arts Ed was to always be specific. It's very important to be as specific as you can be. We covered this briefly when talking about where the character was, who they were talking to. So let's think about where the character is, for example. Where they are stood, what can they see? You can either just visualise this or even make some notes. What's to the right of them? What's to the left of them? What's the temperature like? Is it hot? Is it cold? Or is it muggy? These are the little factors you have to think about. How would this affect the way the person delivers their story? If it specifies that they're holding an object, for example, a letter, practice holding this object. Feel it, see how it sits in your hands. So when you do go and perform it for an audition, for example, and you don't have the item with you, you're able to really have the sense of how it would feel in your hands, how you would look at it, how you would study it. If the character says any facts or opinions on themselves, write that down in a list. Or if the character sings about something that somebody else has said about them, also write that down too. These can give you a good insight on what the character thinks about themselves and how they think they are seen by others. As I said last time, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will leave some ways for you to contact me below. If you'd like some advice on where to find songs or sheet music, again, just hit me up. I have one more video planned to do very soon, so I'll look forward to seeing you guys then. Have a good day and I'll see you later.